Alright, Shalom. Back to make another quick video. Just want to touch briefly on a couple of things. I know one of the things that I've heard a lot of people say they deal with is emotionalism, or others classifying their emotions as being over emotional. I know some people deal with depression. Of course, we all have stress. I mean, we're in captivity, anxiety, and even allergies. And some of these things are due, it's common contributors. And we want to identify the contributors to a lot of these things. And the common contributors are of course, like work stress, um, maybe home life, relationships, captivity, of course. That's going to be stressful. That's going to cause some type of feelings. You're going to feel some type of way about that. But there are also other things that contribute to these conditions. And I believe they amplify these conditions. And that's what I want to talk about today, because these things have to be taken into consideration. And we also need to make an effort to properly combat those things that are coming against us, because they're outside influences and they're so massive on such a great scale, and we're introduced to them every day, but we never, like, in general, fully take in how much they impact us. So some of the uncommon things we might not consider are chemtrails. And I can remember, I'm in my 30s now, I can remember back in the early 90s being outside, running around playing, because that was the thing to do back then. That's what we did, being younger. And I would always like to lay in the grass and look up at the sky and watch the clouds move. And I did not know, of course, what chemtrails were in 1992, but I remember seeing them because I was like, these are some weird looking clouds. And then I remember I would see, the planes in the sky, and I'm like, I didn't know planes could form clouds. They're not clouds. They're a whole bunch of chemicals that are sprayed over specific areas to induce all types of aggressive behaviors and stuff. It's poisoning. Um, of course, you have the fluoride and other chemicals in water. Naturally, that's going to affect you. We have to take these things into consideration. Radiation from microwaves and from a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, I was watching a video a while ago, probably a couple months ago, and it was talking about how on the inside of your phone, and I didn't open my phone to see because I don't know how to take that thing apart. It has a case on it, and I just leave it like that. But you're supposed to have your phone a certain distance away from your face, from your body. It's not safe to keep it within a certain proximity of yourself. And this, I don't want to misquote what channel I saw it on YouTube. If I can find the video, I'll put it in the description box. I'll look for it and see if I can get it in there. So that, of course, you have radiation all over the place, emitting from tons of things. And on top of that, the ingredients in your food. I mean, it's so many poisonous things. And I went like on a tangent a couple years ago. I just started Googling everything and everything I was eating. Like, I just woke up one morning and was like, what am I eating? What is in this stuff? And like I said, this is a few years ago. Um, and TBHQ, what? Are you serious? If you look at the side effects from that, from all those polysorbate 50, 80, 30, 70, whatever, all of those things, a lot of them cause infertility, um, Some of them are like butane, and you eat these things, and when you and it's funny when you Google these things, when you research these things, because not just Google, but you can go beyond Google. When you once you research these things, it'll always give you like the scientific studies that they did to prove that if you take it in small amounts, it's not harmful. Okay, I'm laughing on the inside because I had this conversation with my husband, because we were discussing it, and like like I said, I was freaking out. I was going crazy. I'm like, something is not right. Something is wrong. Like, it's too much craziness in this food. Even in pickles, I have yet to find a pickle with a preservative in it. And if you guys know, let me know. What I'm talking about from the grocery store that does not have a preservative in it that is linked to infertility. I mean, in pickles, really? We're not even talking about all the other things. Like, my husband used to always eat Reese Puff cereal, and I used to eat it too younger. But I mean, like, he would demolish some Reese Puff cereal. It has butane in it, so that was done away with. Like, I couldn't stand behind that. It was not going down like that. So, but a whole bunch of kids cereals have butane in it, and they claim these small amounts won't harm you. But if everything has these things in it, you're not consuming small amounts. All throughout the day, you're consuming the percentage here, percentage here, percent. By the end of the day, you're killing yourself based on the food you eat from all this processed food. You're killing yourself because of these ingredients added into the food. Don't even talk about how much stuff they add pork to that they don't even need to, but they do. I'm telling you, read those labels. I remember I went vegan in September. I was in the grocery store. I had my phone, and I'm Googling everything because I'm like, what is this stuff? I'm not eating it if I don't know what it is, if it's not natural. And it should just be like plain simple ingredients. That's what we really need to get back to. I didn't mean to get all off on that, but seriously, it's really frustrating and it really angers me because they're killing you with your food. They're killing you with your air. Oh, and this last year, I had this brilliant idea that I wanted to start like a little house garden or something. Um, which it was fairly successful. Giving it another shot now because last year I started in the summer, but the proper season for a lot of things is spring. I did yield some cilantro and some scallions and stuff like that. So I was excited. I cooked with it. I was really excited with that. But I'm trying a couple of different things now, different brands of seeds and stuff like that. But I remember looking to buy some soil, and a lot of the soil contained shellfish. Did you know that? A lot of the things that are grown in the soil, they use unclean things in the freaking soil to grow this stuff. And you think you're not being poisoned? It's in the dirt, it's in the air, it's in the water. Okay? What else is there left? What else angle do they need to attack you for you to understand that these people want to kill you? They want you dead. That's exactly what it is. They are poisoning you. And then they'll misdiagnose you and give you medicines with side effects that, if the side effects don't kill you, eventually the disease, so-called disease, will kill you because they're not treating the root cause of it. They're treating the symptoms for it. And in addition to that, killing you with some other things, the negative adverse effects of it the so-called side effects of it, that's gonna kill you too. So it's gonna seem like really overwhelming because it's like, what? How can you combat these things? But you can. And I'm going to talk about that. But before I talk about how to combat it, we have to look at how these things affect us. Okay? Um, Being hit at all these different angles, all these chemicals, you're going to have some type of chemical imbalance. Your system is just going to be like off. Your body is going to fight against itself. You're going to constantly be in a state of turmoil because you have a lot of internal conflict going on from all these different methods of poisoning, and your body's just trying to fight off everything, but your system is being poisoned internally and externally. So it's like, where's the relief? This is why so many people are dying so young, 40s, 50s, 60s, like, because what we eat. And in the meat, and see, this is what I need everybody to understand. I'm not against so much eating the meat. Okay, I went vegan for health purposes, and I'll talk about that. It's safer. Is it the safest? No, because I just told you that they poisoned the soil with unclean things. Outside of the acid rain, outside of the chemtrail air, they had shellfish mixed up in it. And see, what alluded me to this before I went and really researched further into it, around the time I first went vegan, I would eat certain things, eating out, order certain things, and I wouldn't feel good. And I'm like, but I'm only eating vegetables or fruits or something. Like, I shouldn't feel sick. I've eaten vegetables. I'm like, it must be something in it. What's in vegetable? I'm thinking maybe it's pesticides or something like that. But once I started researching, because I have a very severe reaction to shellfish, to all fish, anything out of the ocean, my body's like, nope, karate chop that. I don't want it in my system. And it could be as mild as breaking out in hives, or my throat can swell closed. And my blood will feel like it's on fire. Like, I have severe reaction to these things. And I was having these reactions from vegetables. Started researching. Once I started growing my own stuff, and I'm researching what's in the soil because it's so-called organic. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of air quotes in this video because this is crap. This is a bunch of BS. Okay, excuse my strong language, but it is. Um, I found out that they have shellfish and this stuff. So I'm poisoning my own self, growing my own food? No. I did find a brand, and most high willing, they won't change their ingredients, but I will be checking and checking and checking and checking, and I'll be able to tell from eating the produce whether or not it's poison. But there was a brand called Happy Frog. It's organic, and it did not have any shellfish in it. It was a specific brand. Is wasn't extremely pricey, but it was a little pricey. And then to have it shipped, because of course I found it online, that starts to get pricey, depending on how much you order. And if you want to really grow and plant stuff, you'll need a lot. So yeah, so that's another thing. It's more expensive to get the good stuff, which can come against you. But even if you don't buy organic, you have to soak your fruits and vegetables. You have to soak them in vinegar. First, I soak mine in hot water, then I soak it in vinegar, then I soak it in hot water again, then I scrub it, then I wash it off, and I leave it in a bowl. That's just how I do, because they have all kinds of waxes on it, um, pesticides. I don't trust this fake organic. If they can call seedless grapes organic, when they're genetically modified, they're not organic. They didn't just grow out the ground with no seeds. They didn't grow out of the ground with no seeds. You made them with no seeds, but you claim they're organic. I don't trust nothing these people say. Okay? I spend most of my time in the grocery store touching on fruits and feeling them and smelling them and praying over them because I don't want it to kill me. All right. That's where most of my time is spent. Everything else I can whiz through, breeze through. But I'm putting this information out there because we need to understand that it's not so much the state of chaos that has us feeling this way. Okay? It's not so much the weight of captivity that has us so downtrodden and stuff like that. When you're being poisoned, cognitively, you won't be proficient. You won't be able to thrive. You won't flourish. When you're being poisoned, you're not going to feel well. It's going to be hard for you to be motivated. It's going to be hard for you not to feel stress physically and mentally. Have you ever felt like something was just off, something was just wrong? Excuse me. Got my vinegar water. Have you ever felt like, I just can't figure out what's going on, whatever, whatever. Sometimes, and I'm not saying every time, but sometimes it might be something you ate that is sending your body haywire. And these are all things we have to take into consideration. Okay, so I talked about the ingredients in the soil, and how they affect us. That's what I was talking about, how they affect us. We have all types of poisons in our system. We have chemical imbalance. The meat, I was talking about the meat because I got off the meat. I'm going to get back on this meat. Okay, so first of all, they treat certain diseases for these animals with things that are toxic to us, poisonous to us. So when you eat meat, you're ingesting that. The animals are confined into little small spaces. So when they're stressed, they're constantly, being forced to produce and things like that. A lot of stress hormones are released. And you're going to consume that. And then the tumors, these sicknesses of these animals, they don't just like kill that stuff. Like I've seen videos, and I don't even want to search to link for those videos because every time I think about it, I feel lightheaded. Where the meat just has pus coming out of it. Like it's disgusting. That's what they're selling you. It's already chopped up. It's already chopped up meat that has the pus in it from the tumors and all these things. All that stuff is going into your body. You think you're not going to get sick? You think it's not going to affect you? You think you're not going to be hormonally imbalanced? They inject all of these meats and stuff with all these hormones and stuff like that. Do you think that doesn't play a huge part in what's going on with our people today? Of course it does. We can't be ignorant to it though. We're not consuming these things in small amounts. And be realistic, as many people as it is, do you really think all of this meat is coming from animals, clean animals? Of course not, because the demand is bigger than the supply. I'm not pushing veganism. I'm not pushing vegetarianism. Whatever I subscribe to that personally for myself. You have to choose how you are going to, live your life and how you're going to take charge of your health. Just don't claim that you were ignorant to it when it comes down to it. All right. So all of these things, they're going to cause stress, physical stress, mental stress, anxiety, allergies, crazy allergies, chemical imbalance, emotionalism, and then they want to classify it as all these other things. Oh, okay. I need to get into this before I get to the solution. And if this video cuts off, I am going to do a part 2. As soon as I can record it, I'll upload it. But I gotta put this out there. There is mold in the food. Okay, there's mold in the food. In July 2017, I was working between 60 and 80 hours a week. Crazy, I know. Um, and I fell sick. Sick that I could not stand, that I could not walk. I could barely get out of the bed. I went from being perfectly fine 1 week, fine, to the next week. It started with, oh, my back is so stiff, I can't stand up straight. The next day, oh, I'm standing up, I'm working a 12-hour shift. I think it's 12 hours or 14 hours, something like that. My knees were so swollen over my leg, so big, so red, like like I can't even explain it. Do I have I don't even know if I still have the pictures of it. I took pictures. It's like you can visibly see my knees were red. I am brown. I'm dark skinned. My knees were daggone red. Okay? And huge, puffy, swollen. Had severe inflammation. My feet were so swollen that the shoes I had on, and granted, they were a half size bigger, and I had orthopedic insoles because I was 100% about that work life when I was out there. I'm sorry, my throat is so scratchy. But yeah, I had that. So I had no reason to feel any discomfort. They were soft shoes. They had good support. I had an orthopedic insole, and it was a half size bigger. My feet were so swollen that the top of the shoe cut into my foot and actually left a bruise, an actual marked bruise on both of my feet. Both of my feet were bruised. That's how big my foot got. I couldn't understand it. Couldn't understand why all of a sudden I was so physically sick, but I wasn't coughing, no sneezing, it wasn't no flu, it wasn't no, I didn't know what was going on. Went to the doctors and they diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. What the hell is fibromyalgia? Fibromyalgia is a mysterious disease with so-called no cause, so-called no cure, okay? It's attacking your nervous system. It's sending signals, like a whole bunch of extreme signals of pain all over your body for no reason. And all they want to do is give you pills. They wanted me to take 6 pills every day for potentially the rest of my life. 6. One of them was a neurological drug that's used for epilepsy. Let that sink in, okay? I went from being perfectly fine, working like crazy, to not even being able to barely get out of the bed to go to the bathroom. My husband was in disbelief. I was in disbelief because I couldn't, and the pain was so intense. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So I tried to do what they recommended, minus those pills, because I did not take not one drug they prescribed me. They gave me 3 different prescriptions. Okay, and it would have been 6 to 8 pills a day. I didn't take none of them, okay? Let me tell you. I went vegan. First I went vegetarian. Um, Then I went vegan because I knew that if I cut out the dairy and the eggs, because that's really what it was, and it was mostly garlic bread that kept me from being vegan because I had a thing for garlic bread. I really did. But I didn't eat a lot of eggs. I never drank milk before because I've always had a severe reaction to that, to the point where I could just stop breathing and black out. So I never, drank milk per se, but I did like cheese here and there and whatever. Once I cut that out and went vegan, my inflammation went away. I still had severe pain. I still had severe fatigue. Now, I used to eat chicken and turkey. Those were the only meats I ate. I cut out the chicken, cut out the turkey, um, cut out, and that cut down on the inflammation, but it wasn't completely gone. I cut out the eggs, I cut out all dairy. My inflammation was gone. Okay, so this tells you what is in this crap food. Okay, the inflammation went away by itself. And I'm not discounting the Most High, how He works, because of course I was praying, praying. Still had this severe pain. Still had severe fatigue. I had energy. Like sometimes I couldn't get out of bed. I was so exhausted. And it was making me depressed because I'm like, I'm used to being on the move, getting up and going, running business, stuff like that. And I'm reduced in the matter of a couple of weeks to bed rest. Are you kidding me?